Hey, what's up everybody? It's DARKWORLD, and today we got Killua and Gon. What if they swap fights? Thought it could be an interesting video. Not alone today, I got a partner in crime. Sukuna's #1 defender, #1 glazer, was actually telling me Sukuna could beat all of One Punch Man. If you want to introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm well known for always hyping up Sukuna, just saying he's the strongest in the verse. Low diffs Gojo as well. I've said that many times. What's up? It's Lilo. Here with DARKWORLD to talk about some Hunter x Hunter scaling.
So I was like brainstorming ideas, and I was like, what's like a really interesting topic for Hunter x Hunter that we could do? And I looked this video up on YouTube. I was like, okay, there's no one that has covered a topic like this, and we just thought it would be pretty interesting. And the rules are very simple. The situations that they're going to be in are going to be the same. So for Heaven's Arena, it's going to be like knockdown rules. If they have a goal in the story, like surviving for a certain amount of time or something like that, that's also going to be their goal. And then we're also taking the characters at the same time. So like when Gon is in the exams or the Hunter exams, Killua was going to be in the Hunter exams. Like we're taking them from equivalent times. And I think that's everything. Did I forget anything there?
No, yeah, that sounds right to me. Yeah, that all sounds perfect. So, we could get started with the first matchup.
All right, so our first matchup is Killua versus this guy named John S. And this is actually when they're descending the tower. And this guy's apparently some mass murderer. He rips people's flesh off or something like that. All we really know about him is he can perception blitz like a regular cop. And he has the physical strength to rip off people's flesh. But Gon is also not a regular kid either. We're shown at the very first chapter, the sea beast that he pulls out is said to require the strength of 5 men that he just fishes up with his fishing rod. So Gon's not a regular kid either. He also can just perception blitz regular people as he does with the candle dude right before this. So it's kind of we don't really have any other information on how they would scale to each other. Gon doesn't really comment on Killua's battle with him too much.
Yeah, I mean, you could make arguments for both sides. You could make this kind of argument that maybe this serial killer dude was looking at what Gon did prior and wasn't that impressed by it. Still felt confident that he could kill someone like Killua at the very least. But there's a lot of assumptions involved there. That would be him. You'd have to assume he can tell how strong people are from small interactions, and that he'd also assume Killua was somewhere around Gon's level. Really, all we know is that Gon and this dude are both vaguely superhuman. Gon's feats are more impressive though, because we just got to see more of what he's capable of, right? Him fishing up the I think he's called Master of the Swamp, something like that. He does that pretty effortlessly, showing he's well above the strength of 5 men. It's questionable if this serial killer dude could actually perform the feats Gon performs. Do you guys think he'd actually be able to make Netero use his other hand in the ball game that they played, the capture the ball game? And do you think he'd be able to steal Hisoka's tag? It's hard to say. There's a lot of different factors involved, but we just get more showings of what Gon's capable of, and especially if he gets angry and becomes more powerful. I personally would lean towards Gon, but there is arguments for both sides.
Yeah, I definitely lean towards Gon as well. He just kind of seems to have the higher assertion with all the stuff you talked about. Now that I'm looking at it, bro, this guy's name might be Giannis.
Giannis,
the buck. I'm going with Gon. I wouldn't be mad if someone said Giannis wins though. I really don't have a strong opinion on it. Then we have Killua versus the 3 brothers in the forest. And if Gon is way above normal human level, which he is, these guys are just kind of regular people. They can't even hurt Killua. And then Killua just immediately blitzes them and gets the tag or whatever, the number, the badge. These kind of just seem maybe really strong average people at best. And Gon's a superhuman, like we were saying.
Exactly what you said. These guys don't really ever do anything that's even marginally impressive. Gon is most likely just beating them all up. This was during the portion of the Hunter exams where they had to steal the tags, right? That was their goal.
Yeah, and Killua didn't know which one had his tag. And like the first guy he smoked up, he just like took him hostage and they just gave him the tags and that was it.
Oh yeah, they stand no chance. Like Gon's objective was 1,000. It was magnitudes more challenging than going against these guys. Like the fact that he could steal Hisoka's tag is kind of all you need to know. Like if he can steal Hisoka's tag, he's not going to have any problem at all stealing the tags from these guys.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good way to put it. Like, bro, if he's able to like strategize and come up with a plan to get Hisoka's tag, like, I think he's fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So then we kind of get to the next big fight, and it's towards the end of the exams here. It's Killua versus Hanzo. So what makes this one interesting is we actually kind of get a comparison from Killua's own mouth, where he's discussing the difference between Gon, Hanzo, and himself, and he's like drawing these lines in the sand. And Gon, he says that Gon is like massively far away from Hanzo, which we saw in the fight. Like Hanzo was just, I mean, what he did to Gon was just disgusting. It was terrible. And Killua seems to put himself below Hanzo, but he also says he's being modest, and he also says like in normal mode, whatever that means, I guess not his like assassin bloodlust, I'm gonna kill everybody like mode. So he does kind of think he might be weaker than Hanzo, but he's being modest. So it's kind of like, how do you interpret this, especially with how Killua compares himself to Hisoka here, or specifically Hanzo to Hisoka? If you want to touch on that.
Yeah, there's a few things. Like he puts Hanzo relative to Hisoka, and that's not true at all. Hisoka's magnitude stronger than Hanzo. Like, he wouldn't even need to use his Hatsu ability. He could low diff him just like flexing his Ren, right? Hisoka's on a completely different level, but Killua still puts Hanzo relative to him. So at this point in the story, Killua was like vastly overestimating himself. Earlier than this, he was saying that he thought he could kill Netero as well.
Oh, and bro, in Gon's fight with Hanzo, he's like, oh, I could have dodged that.
I mean, honestly, I do believe what Killua was saying when he said he could have dodged that attack. I think that was an accurate assessment, but I do question the assessment on, is he really actually close in power to Hanzo? Because like a few chapters prior, he was saying he thought he could kill Netero, right? And he's nowhere near the level of these guys. So I mean, like, if you're being real nice to Killua, an argument you could make is like, this is just their physical abilities without Nen. That's all that Killua was assessing, and he has no idea how to tell how strong Nen users are. So maybe that's where they actually all line up without Nen, but even that I honestly don't believe.
I mean, does Hanzo have any anti-feats though?
Oh no, true. You know what? True.
He might just be Hisoka level.
Yeah, maybe Hanzo is Hisoka level. No, it's just I think honestly Killua was overestimating himself. The stance I have on it is that I do think Hanzo would actually beat Killua, even if he's going into his assassin mode. If he's putting him close to Hisoka in any way, shape, or form, that already makes his like scale suspicious, you know?
Yeah, more than likely Hanzo's just gonna outlast him or be a little bit faster. Not that Killua was gonna get like blitzed around and beat up like Gon was, because he's clearly a lot stronger than Gon, but he puts himself way closer to Hanzo than Gon, so like he might stand a pretty good chance, but overall that we just kind of think Hanzo probably takes it at this point.
Something else to consider is that Killua still has the Nen Needle. So if he's fighting Hanzo and is at a disadvantage for like even a moment, his Nen Needle might activate and make him run away.
That's pretty much what we think there. Hanzo probably should take it more times than not, especially if the Illumi's Needle thing comes into play. Just blatantly drops Killua's reaction speed. We see this in the shoot fight.
You know what? Hey, maybe Hanzo's just stronger than Netero, bro. Like,
I mean, at this point, this could be a rustier Netero. Maybe Killua really could, smoke him up. So
no, exactly.
Next we got Killua versus Illumi, but Gon takes his place, and this is bad.
Oh yeah,
this is really, really bad. So we do know Illumi's objective here is just to get Killua out of there and like come back home. I guess it still doesn't really matter. Like, he's so much stronger than Gon. Whatever he has to do to just get to the next round and ultimately get to his goal of, revealing himself to Killua, he's just going to do whatever he has to do to get that far. I mean, he's came this far in the exams. At the very least, he should be able to maybe manipulate Gon. The Mind Needle and Killua, he could just put into Gon, just throw one into his head, I guess, and be like, forfeit.
Yeah, I think that's actually a possibility. He might be able to just force him to forfeit, actually. The same way, like, genuinely the same way that Killua forfeited. Like, in theory, he might be able to do the exact same thing. Like, beat him the exact same way, so.
Yeah, so if you came here coveting the answer for what if Gon fought Illumi in the Hunter exams, there's your answer. So moving on from that, we get to Heaven's Arena, and I should have said this before the video, we're not going to actually do every single little fight in the series because, like, at the start of Heaven's Arena here, Gon and Killua just fight a ton of different fodders, and they just one-shot all of them. We're not going to actually swap them all in every fight here. They all just get beat up the same. Gon pushes, and Killua does the little chop, and they get to the 200th floor. So that shouldn't really be contentious. I don't think anyone's gonna have a problem with us just getting to Gon versus Gido. And this is actually kind of interesting if we put Killua in this place. This is actually, like, we thought this was gonna be simple at first, and it ended up being, like, extremely complicated.
Yeah, I mean, I know Gido just, like, kind of seems like he's a fraud who Killua would just blitz and karate chop immediately, but his feats against Gon make it a bit debatable, right? When they just learned 10, Gon doesn't have the ability to actually land an attack on Gido. Like, every time Gon gets up close, Gido can send him flying with a top spinning maneuver.
Right, and something I want to add on here is it's made very explicit that 10 is only a thin layer of defense. It does not affect offensive prowess at all. And we also see Gon is able to weave these tops for like an hour. Killua still seems implied to be a good bit above Gon. Gon's like closing the gap a little bit, but he should be able to outspeed these tops. The main issue, if he gets close to Gido and Gido does that spin attack, like, what does Killua do to get past that? Because he can't, like, amp his offense at all. He does not know Ren. So the only real way that we could think of is if he's just so much faster than Gon that he could just hit Gido before he does that spin. And if you do think that's the case, that could possibly work. Like we do see in Gon's next fight with Gido just getting launched in the air and falling down was enough to just like put him out of commission. Unironically, if Killua just gets one good hit, he could just walk over to him while he's on the ground and just like beat him up. If Killua isn't fast enough to do this, or maybe he isn't like strong enough to actually knock Gido down, we don't really see how he could win by points. Like Gido's probably just gonna eventually win by points or just fatigue him enough to where he runs out of stamina, whether it be an hour like it was with Gon. And even Illumi's needle could come into play. We saw Zushi, bro. Zushi's Rin had Killua like, bro, he was scared for his life, right? This isn't only just someone that could use Rin. They have a Hatsu that's gonna pop up close. If that Hatsu comes out up close and Killua's like Nin Needle comes into play, he might just play it safe and dip out, and that's his only win con. Honestly, Killua, it sounds crazy, he might end up losing here.
Yeah, it does sound crazy because it's like initially you would just think Killua would blitz and one-tap him, but there is a chance that he's not actually fast enough to land the attack before Gido does the spinning maneuver and sends him flying.
Right, or powerful enough to even knock Gido down, who might be able to do like a Ren defense.
Yeah, so it's kind of, I mean, as crazy as it might sound, it might end up being somewhat of a 50-50.
Yeah, but things change pretty drastically in round 2 of Killua versus Gido. This is when Gon has the rematch with Gido, and he knows Ren now. Killua's gonna know Ren as well. If the last battle was a 50-50 and Killua's way stronger and he knows Ren, Killua might actually end up like killing him or something. Gido can't even damage him, and Killua probably just blitzes him and like tips him over. So the next battle is Killua versus Riehlvelt. I don't know. I'm just gonna call him the wheelchair guy. Killua kind of beats on this guy. The issue here is Gon is replacing him, and Gon got a strategy from Killua's first fight. Like this is stated. The issue is this guy has like these electric whips. If Gon doesn't know that, he could get caught off guard and actually get shocked. And I think Killua tells him like, yeah, you could die if you get shocked by this or something. So it actually could like fry Gon. But like Gon also has his fishing pole, which he could bring, but he didn't because his strategy didn't require it. And if he brings out the electric whips, like Gon could at least parry them with the fishing pole. Gon probably can keep up with him if he could somehow parry away these like whips with his fishing pole. He might be able to like actually just yank one of the whips away from him, maybe something like that.
Yeah, I mean, really, like you said, the only way Gon would lose this fight is if he's shocked by the whips off guard. Like, for example, once he knows that the whips are electric, he would probably just do the same plan again. He would just like figure it out mid-fight. So it really comes down to like, does he get hit by the whips off guard or not? So if he has the fishing rod with him, then the odds of that happening are way lower, because like you said, he might like parry them with the fishing rod, and then it becomes a debate on would the electricity travel through the fishing rod and shock him, or would it like maybe there's some rubber insulation there or some like plot thing like that.
Gon doesn't even know Shu later on. And he's like, oh, he could have blocked a nin attack with the fishing pole.
He does say that. Well,
so I don't know. Maybe the fishing pole's just crazy.
Anytime that fishing rod's mentioned, it just makes me realize how fraudulent Wing is. I mean, imagine having an enhancer Nen teacher and say like, hey, you could just be enhancing that. Without the fishing rod, there's a higher probability of him just like actually losing to this guy, maybe doing the same thing Killua does, grabbing the whips and then just getting shocked and losing.
Yeah, I would lean Gon. Definitely with the fishing rod, I think he's taking it. Without it, I think there's a chance he loses, but more times than not, I think I would give it to him. Next up, we have Gon versus this wheelchair guy, except now it's Killua, and we saw Killua already beat him without any prep, any knowledge on his abilities. So Killua just obliterates.
Yeah.
Watching Gon fight him first, there's no way he's losing. Not only is he stronger than Gon, he would now have prep time, and it's already a fight he won. That brings us to our next fight, Gon versus Hisoka. Killua in this place, Killua just gets annihilated. Yeah. It's really no diff. Hisoka, as long as he wants to entertain the crowd, will be as long as the fight lasts.
Yeah, honestly, Hisoka, if he wants to, he beats Killua without using bungee gum at all. Just raw stats.
Yeah, genuinely, he might not even need to move from his place, like he was doing against Gon at first. He wasn't even moving his feet. So obviously, Killua's no match for Hisoka. We'll keep it pushing. Yeah. We're gonna skip over like some of these weird fights, like them versus some of the Greed Island Beast or whatever. So we're not going to be doing all those, but towards the end of Greed Island, the first fight we have to go over is Killua versus Sub, and this is a little bit weird if we put Gon in his place. So this guy, he's actually like kind of relative in terms of like speed and power to Killua. Now Killua doesn't have use of his hands here. His hands are like injured, but there's like probably 7, 8, 9 parry indicators of them kind of just like having physical clashes. And Killua does say he has a slight edge in physical strength, but he has more aura. And then Killua kind of just uses Rhythm Echo to land like a stun attack with Lightning Palm, and then takes him out with like a strategy with his yo-yos hitting him from the blind side. If Gon is in the same tier as this Killua, which he probably is based on like everything we've seen with the Bisky training, how does Gon do in this position? Because he doesn't have the yo-yos. He doesn't have Rhythm Echo to catch him off guard. You kind of came up with some ideas. What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, so it's like at this point in the series, Gon and Killua are actually like very relative to each other, which is shown through them being able to do Ryu sparring with each other. Some translations say that can only be done by two people of equal strength, or others say like equal skill. Either way, they're very relative in overall stats at this point in the series, and have both gotten a lot stronger. So like, if Gon's fighting against this character that has more aura than Killua, to the point where Killua can't really even do significant damage without using like a planned strategy, Gon most likely isn't beating this guy in a straight up like hand-to-hand fight. His only real chance of actually being able to beat him would be landing rock if he's just fighting him and using his overall stats. There is other options, right? Like if you're incorporating a plan, he might be able to use some of the cards from Greed Island to actually increase his chances of winning. Like one card that would actually help is the Sword of Truth, and it's stated that it splits in two anything that's deceitful, and it's like a criminal's worst nightmare. If they have a copy of the Sword of Truth, they did have one at the start of Greed Island, but then they end up losing the card. If they end up acquiring another one as part of this strategy, or maybe they even got one throughout the rest of their gameplay of the game, Sword of Truth would like slice this guy in half.
If you don't want to like take that argument, even though, you know, they did prep for this, so it's kind of like, do you want to take the prep or not? Or maybe they don't have the card. The only way Gon really wins this is if he lands a John Ken. It's really hard for him to land John Ken at this point in the story. Like, he doesn't really do feints with it. He can't do the running John Ken. It's got a really long like wind up time. The only way I was thinking that he could win with John Ken without using like a card, like Lilos was saying, he could like maybe tank an attack or two from this guy that's relative, maybe a little bit below Killua in like power, and just take that attack to land a rock. That could be a possible win con, but him actually landing it is a bit questionable.
It is kind of weird how Gon canonically does better against a stronger character, but a lot of factors went into that. A lot of planning specifically for that character. Another thing is like Genthru's abilities like kind of set him up perfectly to be hit by John Ken, because he put himself in a position where he had very little aura protecting his chin, and then Gon used that like a crazy person to like sacrifice a hand and then land a kick on him. But this guy's sub, he doesn't really have any abilities that would put him in a situation where he's like putting all of his aura into like his hands and leaving his chin vulnerable to like get hit. So I mean, Gon, he's crazy, and he would be willing to risk his life to land some like crazy damage on him. Based on what we've seen, this guy doesn't really have any abilities that would make that opportunity happen, beat Gon down eventually, unless Gon lands rock, and the odds of him landing rock are pretty low. You know, it's honestly kind of a shame that Gon lost his fishing rod at the start of this arc, because like using that would have created more opportunities for him.
So like the way I see it is Gon can win with John Ken. I don't see a way he really has an opening to actually land it. That was the entire reason that plan where Genthru could not run away from his John Ken is because of the charge up time and how hard it is to land it. As crazy as it actually sounds, I think Sub might actually take this one a bit more consistently. Alright, so moving on, we have Gon versus Genthru. So Killua was going to be taking his place. So we're going to do kind of 2 rounds here. One with the prep that Gon had, and then one if he were just to fight Genthru regularly. If he fights Genthru like regular, and they're like both bloodlusted, Killua just gets destroyed. He can't use his hands. Genthru is massively more powerful. He's consistently outpacing and blitzing Gon, and even in the scene where Gon kicks him, the reason Gon is pinned down is because he completely outsped him and grabbed both of his arms. The stars aligned and like a shooting star fell from the sky as Gon was fighting Genthru, and they had a perfect plan with perfect prep. That's how he fought and won. So going into round 2 here, it gets a lot more interesting because Killua actually could probably pull this off even with his hands being pretty much unusable. And the reason I say that is if they just have that big like manhole, if he can somehow land Lightning Palm, he uses Rhythm Echo to maybe confuse Genthru while he's standing on the pitfall, use Lightning Palm right then and there to like freeze him on place, and he doesn't have John Ken to like break the ground and open up the pitfall, but he could just spawn the rock on top of a paralyzed Genthru and probably break the ground. And then I was thinking, what if he just immediately activates the gasoline card? He drops a bunch of gasoline in there and like lightning palms it and like sets it on fire like a Shikamaru like burying Hidan type of thing.
That's like his best chance because Killua doesn't have the stats to like one-shot Genthru. Honestly, even if his hands weren't injured, he's not strong enough to beat Genthru at this point in the series. Yeah, he needs like some kind of elaborate plan like this in order to beat a character this strong. And you have to also really hope the Nen Needle doesn't activate. But I actually think that when he fights with a like elaborate plan, that lowers the odds of the Nen Needle activating.
I definitely see that as being the case because Bisky gave Gon very specific instructions of when things were going to get dicey. If Bisky goes over like these details with Killua, same way she did with Gon, which she will here, then it definitely lessens the chance that Killua's, gonna irrationally start like tweaking. Killua definitely could win this if Genthru just kind of plays it like he does in the story, where he's holding back, just not using his technique, and Killua does the crazy like Hidan prep strategy I was mentioning. Next is Gon versus Centipede and Killua versus Mosquito. This is getting into the Chimera Ant Arc. If you want to start us off with this and what you think about it.
Yeah, so Killua low diffs the Centipede in a very similar way to how Gon did. I think Killua would just find a way to like rip his head off. He would eventually just find a way how to do it.
Yeah, Gon completely outsped his offensive assault. No reason to think Killua can't do the same. They were pretty relative with the Ramot fight in terms of speed. Killua's just gonna get out the way and jump him and rip his head off or something. As for the Mosquito, I'm not gonna lie, Killua is like a lot faster and like pretty much just straight up either blitzes or outpaces this Mosquito, like ripping its arms off. But it kind of catches Killua off guard by its extra tail to stab him in the back. And that was like poison to kill Killua. But then after that, Killua was like, poison doesn't work on me. And then he just blitzes the Mosquito again and like slashes its head in pieces. So he's way, way, way faster than this thing. I'm not gonna lie, Gon actually could end up losing here if he does get off guarded by the poison tail like Killua did. If Gon tries to just do rock after avoiding that, because if he does that, where he dodges the Mosquito, then uses scissors, he has probably a chance of winning. But if he does take the same route that Killua does, he might end up losing due to the poison.
The fight could genuinely go the exact same way the Centipede fight went for Gon. He might just land scissors on her and then chop her to pieces in the same way.
So next we have Gon versus Knuckle. We know that Gon and like Killua fought Knuckle like a few times before this, but to make it not redundant of like 6 Knuckle fights in a row, we're just gonna take like the 2 major battles with Knuckle. The first one where Gon kind of learns the weaknesses to his Jonkin, and then the second one where it's like a serious fight. So in this first round, we know from Killua's previous experiences with Knuckle that him and Gon put together were just getting beat on by Knuckle really badly. Like they say he wasn't even using 50% strength. A lot of people think it was just Gon fighting him, but no, like we see at the beginning of the chapter, like Killua was like got like a walking cane. Now they were like kind of nerfed because they went there after training, but so was Knuckle. He's less than 50% power and fighting 2 people. It's not a good look for Killua. Like at the beginning, Gon was getting, whether you want to say he was getting blitzed or pretty massively outpaced, it took Gon a really long time to adapt to Knuckle's speed. The only way he started shifting the tide in this fight was with his Jonkin, and Killua just doesn't have anything that's as powerful as that.
The fact that Knuckle is beating them both at the same time actually gets really bad because like as their training progressed, Gon and Killua were getting less and less tired completing the Ren training. Then they would go fight Knuckle and still lose working together. Like at some point they weren't even really getting that tired. And they were still just losing to Knuckle anyway. It's pretty bad, and it's also hard to imagine, like, they fought Knuckle, I think it was for like 3 weeks every day. And it's hard to imagine that out of all of those fights, Killua never tried his Hatsu abilities like his Lightning Palm and Lightning Bolt. Knuckle, he might have been trying those, and Knuckle was still just like low diffing these guys. So like, yeah, it's just much more likely that Knuckle, especially in this first round, would beat Killua. I don't think he'd even need his full power. Another thing that implies it is like after he beat Gon in this round 1 fight, he was like, all right, Killua, I'll knock you out too. I barely tried.
Yeah, like come fight me after.
Yeah, like he was like, yo, like Gon's done, I'll beat you up now, let's go.
And bro, this was like a 30-minute battle or something.
Yeah.
Or something of fighting Gon, and he's like, yeah, I can still beat you, Killua. And this is a completely fresh Gon. Biscuit let them get completely recovered for this fight.
And he still just like bullied Gon. And it's implied that like the lightning bolt has a slight charge up time. Knuckle would probably treat that like John Ken and just not let Killua actually do it. It's also interesting to think like anytime Killua's been in a one-on-one with somebody that's like relative to him, he doesn't do lightning palm. Like he didn't do it when he fought like Chimera Ant Palm, he doesn't do it. Well, not lightning palm, sorry, the lightning bolt. He doesn't do that if he's in a 1v1 against someone like relative to him. It's always more like a support move.
Yeah, it's weird how little he uses it, actually.
Yeah, because you would think he'd use it against the Chimera Ant Palm when he was getting like beaten up in physicals, but he doesn't do that to her either. So yeah, it just leans towards Knuckle like very heavily. Killua still has the Nen Needle at this time, so it's hard to say if he would actually like take as many risks as Gon was doing and like learn mid-fight.
That brings us to Gon versus Knuckle round 2. So this is weird because when you fight Knuckle at full power, he doesn't really damage you because every time he punches you, he's giving you aura. So even if we say, okay, maybe he could keep up with Knuckle, like because Gon's like kind of keeping up with it. Gon even kind of outspeeds him and lands more punches in the exchange, but they were less powerful. It's just gonna put Killua on a clock, and you can't damage Knuckle until you pay back the interest. So it's like, how does he not get hit by Knuckle to not have APR activate and then also do enough damage to pay back APR and damage Knuckle? It's just a ticking bomb, you know, of him going to lose. I don't really see any way he gets out of this.
Yeah, no, this is like pretty much guaranteed Knuckle victory. Another thing is like Gon had gotten a lot stronger from his first fight with Knuckle. Killua did not get that like strength buff. He just fights Bisky and gets low diffed. So like the thing is, Killua doesn't have the stats to overpower or like blitz Knuckle, who's going full strength. Another thing, Knuckle could just use hit and run tactics if he wants. Like hit Killua one time and then he just has to avoid him for like 4 minutes and then he goes bankrupt. So
yeah, like Hakaware is really, really overpowered when you're fighting someone that's a little bit slower than you,
yeah,
or like in the same tier of speed as you. And Knuckle should still be physically superior. You know, he's got physical capabilities on par with Kite. He's not gonna be able to pay back the same amount of aura. And then it's just like the first instance of Knuckle landing Hakaware, Gon was barely able to like track him. So he unironically might just like Masvidal flying knee Killua immediately, put Hakaware on him, and then it's just like, yeah, and then he could just kind of, like you said, like play defensively. Like, yeah, overall, we just both kind of favor Knuckle here. Not even just like favored, he probably just wins every time, honestly. Then we get into Gon replacing Killua versus Shoot. Maybe the speed gap, maybe Gon got a little bit faster than Killua after their training, but before this training, they were pretty close in speed. Like when we see them against Ramot, they're kind of doing like combo attacks at the same time and moving pretty on par with each other. I'm talking about before the John Ken like lightning combo. They seem to be pretty on par in speed. Maybe Gon got a little bit faster, but regardless, Killua was really struggling to like deal with these fists. Like we hear from Knuckle, the big issue with John Ken at this point is the wind-up time, and like Gon did alleviate that a little bit by implementing feints, but that's not really gonna work at a distance when his paper emission isn't even powerful enough to really hurt Shoot. Knuckle is so much more powerful than paper, he slaps it away. People think it just disappears. No, he just slaps it away. That is how weak it is, like compared to rock. So Shoot either could just get out the way, slap it away, and I think it's just a really bad matchup for Gon. What do you think? A
lot of the fight where Killua was fighting against Shoot, Killua was nerfed by the Nen Needle. So it's like, it's a nerfed Killua versus Shoot, and it just becomes interesting, like scaling Gon against this. But for one, Shoot is almost guaranteed physically stronger than this Gon anyway, just by being relative to Knuckle.
Yeah, also, real quick, I just want to throw in, at the start of the palace invasion, when he sees Gon's like determination, he still thinks Gon is weaker than him.
It's mainly a like type matchup diff. Well, Shoot is like pretty good at fighting at a long range, while Gon is mainly a close distance fighter, and he doesn't have like enough skill to bridge that gap just yet. It's also debatable on if he has running rock or not. So here's the thing. I think Gon has a very slight chance of victory if he can land the John Ken combo attack that he did to Knuckle at the very end of their fight. But if he does that like at the beginning, like if he shoots paper and then like tries to blitz behind him and then land rock, that's like his really only chance at winning. I'd say it's just far more likely that Shoot would win. What I think would happen in the fight is that Shoot would blind Gon very quickly, and the odds of like a blind Gon actually landing rock on Shoot are pretty much zero.
I definitely think his physicals will be more impressive. I'm just coming at the angle of, because Shoot has 3 hands, that he could have one of the hands like block the paper for him, so he doesn't even have to worry and like take his eyes off Gon or something, you know. Not saying Gon has no chance here. I just think Shoot being a range fighter, Gon being more of an up close fighter, his feints aren't gonna really be effective for someone that doesn't need to get up close.
What I think would happen, Gon would lose both his eyes and then just keep boxing. I think that seems 100% in character.
That actually would be like something Gon would do.
I think he would lose both his eyes, probably lose his hands, and like still keep fighting and like actually maybe land an attack or two, trying to do rock with no hand. He would do crazy stuff like that and really impress him, but he's just I think Shoot would end up damaging him to the point where he's like trapped in the cage like Kite was. I think that's how he'd lose.
Next up, we got Killua versus Ramot. So Gon's going to be taking the place of Killua here. Killua has a pretty poor performance in this fight for most of the fight, but that was because of Illumi's needle. Once he takes it out, it's a really, really bad look for Ramot. So how do you think Gon does here?
Yeah, so here's my stance on it. If Gon actually had his Nen, he's absolutely bodying Ramot. They've gotten way stronger from the result of their training with Bisky. But the problem is he doesn't have his Nen. He's in Zetsu. So like if he were to fight Ramot, he'd probably just gets one punched. But it's like, I think an interesting thing to talk about is like how strong Killua was when he removed the Nen needle. There's a debate over like where this power is coming from. The stance I take on it is that a large portion of the buff is actually the result of the Bisky training. Like the training they got with Bisky made them considerably stronger. And then on top of this, he gets a confidence amp as well. It's stated that emotions affect your Nen. So now Killua is more confident and he's just stronger from the Bisky training. But yeah, I think Gon's capable of like very similar things.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think it was really more so a mental nerf. Like we see in the Shoot fight, Shoot actually notes that his reaction speed is slower when he's being affected by the needle. So he has these increased stats from all the training, he just can't really adequately use them. But yeah, Gon probably just beats on Ramot if he has Nen. If he doesn't, then he probably loses. So now we have Killua in Gon's place versus the Snake, Owl, and Bat. Now, what makes this really weird is Lilos has brought this up to me before, that Gon can just see in the dark. And this is like really consistent that he can see in the dark. He does this really early on in the like hunter exams. For some reason in this fight, I guess the forest is just making it extra dark or something. They cannot see, or Gon cannot see, even though him and Killua both have like this night vision. So maybe Killua can't see either here. So what's your thoughts if it's this same type of darkness and Killua can't see?
I mean, yeah, I do think the like can't see thing in the dark is low-key just kind of a writing mistake, possibly. That's kind of what I actually think. But honestly, Killua low diffs them all. He one-shots the snake the same way, and Killua doesn't have like the same like mercy as Gon. I don't think he's leaving the snake alive. I think the snake is getting one shot. They're all getting one shot. I don't even think Killua would need to use his Hatsu abilities, to be honest with you. I think he one-shots the snake. The Owl and Bat, like they do their combination, and then like the same trick Gon did where he like yelled in his ear. I think instead of yelling in the Bat's ear, as soon as she like comes down, Killua just like tears her head off. And then it's just a 1v1 with the Owl. And we saw that the Owl, as soon as he was in a situation where he had to 1v1 with Gon, he tried to run away and Gon just hit him with a rock. I think Killua just blitzes, catches up to him, and then just kills him. Like he doesn't get a chance to run away. He just gets killed.
Yeah, and this is assuming that Killua would also not be able to see in the dark, which we can't even prove. He might just have better night vision than Gon. But if it's really that dark, maybe he could use like a lightning palm or thunderbolt on the ground to start a fire and then just chill by the fire to wait for them to attack so he could like see them or something. But like Killua was just way stronger than these guys. It's noted like they can't even damage Gon. But they literally can't even hurt him. They're not really going to be able to hurt him or even really do anything to him.
Killua also fights like a bunch of fodder ants in the woods. And then this like big dung beetle guy. I just want to say real quick that Gon would also kill all of these guys. It might not be as like cool looking as the way Killua does it, but Gon is very capable of just like bodying all these fodder ants.
Yeah, and if you think Killua and Gon are in the same ballpark at all, at this point in the story, which they are, Killua, like, killing these ants has a captain officer ant. This is noted to be a captain officer ant, right? Not just a regular officer. He's, like, terrified of Killua, just seeing Killua do this. Like, he sees his speed and power. The only way he even lands that blast of air on him, quote unquote, is because he's getting help from, I think it's Flutter, like the surveillance ant up in the sky. If Gon's anywhere in the ballpark of Killua, even the top tier ant there would be scared for his life. So it's no difficulty. Gon wipes.
It should also be noted though that Killua was tired at the start of this. I think Pitou states that he had ran for like 30 hours before this started. Like he was on the move, like taking out like the Nen puppets for like 30 hours. So he was like sweating and tired before this fight started. So maybe you can make an argument that for Gon to beat these fodder, he'd use his Hatsu ability. All of them are getting like chopped in half by scissors.
Yeah, I don't even think they could damage Gon. If I'm just
that's also
like,
possible.
No matter, even if they could land attacks on him, I don't even think they could hurt him.
Yeah, that's also fair. Like, if these guys are all like peon ants, they're scaling below the owl and bat who could not damage him. So that's a really good point.
Okay, so next up we have Killua versus Ikalgo and the Ortho siblings. So just to make this easier to talk about, because we don't know how a situation would go if Gon got sniped at. Would he follow the same way? Would he go down into the cave or whatever? We're just going to say he gets hit by Ikalgo and he follows him into the cave. This is really bad because there's like a little fish dude in there that's awaiting with a pin to put on the back of the clothes of Killua, which would be Gon here. And this makes you the mark or target of the Ortho siblings. And Gon's not going to know he's marked. And these things don't manifest until they actually hit your skin.
Yeah, he has 0% chance of surviving that. He doesn't have like the dark game knowledge that Killua has. I mean, I could see Gon like trying to find them like while he's getting stabbed. Like Gon's crazy, right? So I could see Gon just thinking like, well, maybe I could find him. And like instead of trying to stop the dark game, like jumping in the water and swimming around trying to find him.
And it might be worse, bro, because then his blood's going to be in the water and, like, the fish are going to come attack him. But, like, he's such a schizo, he might do it.
Yeah, he might. So, like, Gon he has no chance of victory.
This isn't really Gon's fault. It's just, like, a trap, and there's nothing he can really do about it. Yeah, he'd probably just die here. Now we're getting into, like, really just big boy territory. We have Killua and Godspeed versus Youpi. And Gon, specifically, Enraged Gon, is taking his place here. So,
Gon dies, so
yeah, so, look, I love Enraged Gon. That's like my boy. But it is stated in the data book, all the Royal Guard are similar in power when they're first born. Pitou, literally just walking, is stated by the narrator to be able to decapitate Gon with one arm. Youpi, if he's in similar power tier as, just a one-armed clothesline from Pitou, he's probably going to be able to kill Gon with one good hit, maybe like two. Gon's only real chance is to like run around and like try to avoid him, because there's no situation where Rock gets launched here. It's not happening. Youpi's too fast. Now, Knuckle is able to kind of finesse and avoid Youpi when he's far away, like when he's near the staircase. He's able to kind of get out the way of like these long-range tentacle attacks. So, Enraged Gon, he maybe could avoid some of these attacks at a range. I don't even think Rock would even hurt Youpi, if I'm being like honest. So the reason I'm saying that is Bisky does say normally you have, say, 10% of your aura around your body, and then we see when Gon's training with Knuckle, he has like 1800 of like 2200 aura, which is a little bit under 10%, likely just because he's not as experienced. So like Youpi is estimated to have around 700,000. He may have even more, and I doubt he has 10% of his aura and can defense at this point because he's such a Nen novice. But even if he has half of that passively just guarding his body, it's a 35,000 Ken defense or Ren defense, whatever. Gon's total rock output at the point of him training with Knuckle is 4,000. Now it's probably a good bit stronger because he's enraged here. Like, it's really hard to see Gon damaging him if he lands this, let alone, like, how does he even land it, right? Like, he just dies.
Yeah, it's just the Royal Guards have absolutely insane stats. Like, unless you're adult Gon, you're not even hurting them.
Killua versus 1/6 Pouf, who is actually weaker than 1/6. I believe maybe Lilos remembers what it is, but it's like, I think he says he can only be 50% effective or has 50% combat power when his core is like separated and his clones are active. So it's a 1/7 Pouf that's also nerfed because his core isn't there, fighting an enraged Gon.
Yeah, it's a massively nerfed Pouf. I think it might have actually, like, not even trying to say the meme, he might have like given 6/7. So it might have been like 1/7 Pouf. And then, like you said, like, because he has a line of dialogue where he's talking to Morel where he says like, all of his clones like barely even add up to like half of him, especially if he was trapped. So there's just so many different nerfs going on with Pouf. And there's also like a time limit factor in this fight because as soon as Meruem like reaches the palace or is about to reach the palace and like look at the Gungi board, Pouf dashes back to the main body, the clone does. So overall, I think it's very likely that enraged Gon would outlast this Pouf, last long enough for this Pouf to dash back to the main body.
Right, and we also see whenever Pouf pulls up on Killua's in base form, he's not getting perception blitzed by Pouf because he does activate Godspeed and Whirlwind. Now, I'm not saying Gon scales to this or anything like the Whirlwind speed, but Killua would have to activate that based on seeing it because he's in straight base form. So Pouf can't perception blitz a late Chimera Ant Arc Killua who's just weaker than enraged Gon. There's a pretty good chance Gon might be able to react and weave if Killua can at least perceive this and just protect Komogi for the time limit.
And another argument that like implies that enraged Gon scales at least a bit above this base form Killua is due to this scene where Killua's wondering to himself, could Pitou possibly be thinking of a counterattack like while in this essentially Nenless state? And Killua says, no, that's not possible. Even Pitou wouldn't be able to handle this enraged Gon in their Nenless form. So this statement, you can argue that this is something that scales enraged Gon slightly above Killua because he's saying the reason why it's not possible is more due to Gon's strength than his own. He's not saying like, no, that's not possible. Pitou wouldn't be able to handle my Godspeed, stuff like that.
Yeah, so I think we both agree enraged Gon probably could endure this and just save Komogi. Finally, our last fight of the video, we have adult Gon versus Pitou, and Killua's in place. So Godspeed, Killua versus Pitou. Killua loses.
Yeah, Godspeed, I mean, even the thing is, he just doesn't have the AP to actually damage Pitou. And then Godspeed's going to run out, and then Pitou will just like one tap him. The problem is, like, even if he spends the whole Godspeed duration running away, there is an argument that he could escape. But even that, there's a chance he won't because of Pitou's end radius.
Yeah, that's the thing. So like, okay, well, what does he do? He activates Godspeed. Yeah, he can stun Pitou and like punch Pitou a bunch of times, but it's just gonna be Youpi all over again. What did that actually do? All it did was buy time for Hakaware. It literally did nothing to actually harm Youpi in any significant way. And keep in mind, his Godspeed just ran out in character. If it just runs out, Pitou probably just runs him down and like clotheslines him and like decaps. Or if he somehow can like weasel away. I mean, Pitou's got an end radius of what is it, up to 2 2 kilometers. So
yeah, 2 kilometers.
I don't think he's sliding out of there alive. He's just gonna run out of Godspeed, and then Pitou's just gonna hunt him down.
So there's a couple other interesting arguments, right? Like there's an argument that if Killua is just running away in Godspeed, it lasts a lot longer than it is when he's fighting. There is an argument
because of Whirlwind. Yeah, so it's not gonna last very long. It's honestly, I don't know if y'all seen House of Dragon, like Damon walking into like the crab feeder's den and walking out. That's kind of how it's gonna go here.
Yeah, if he tries to actually fight Pitou, he's fried. Even like the scene where he fought Youpi probably would have killed Killua if Melioron didn't show up and save him.
Yeah, it's literally just because he was in that hole and couldn't see Killua. Yeah, so that's everything. That is every major fight in the series. What if Gon and Killua swap fights? So I want to thank being here with me. Thank you, buddy. Make sure to go check out his channel. He does a whole bunch of cool Hunter x Hunter stuff, does some One Piece stuff. Anything else you want to say?
I think a really interesting matchup would be Palm versus Adult Gon. You might have to give Adult Gon some prep time. Maybe give him the fishing rod back. But,
he needs the fishing rod. Yeah.
I do think if Adult Gon used conditional Nen on top of his already adult form, like if he uses like his own form of Zero Hand, I think he might be able to push Palm to an extreme diff.
Yeah, and if he uses his chains, like chain jail. But overall, I would still probably lean Palm even with these advantages. But yeah, that's really the last thing we wanted to comment on. Thank you guys for watching. I know this was probably a behemoth of a video that you're watching. Thank you for sticking with it. That's everything. Goodbye.
Man, just Wing's such a fraud.
The Wing slander is so crazy.
I just can't deal with him, man. He's a complete fraud. I can't deal with him, bro.